Good morning, friends. I know so many of you are waiting to hear from me, and this is going to be probably the toughest video I've had to make. I think I've made over 300 videos, and it took me a few days to think about what I want to say, and I realized that I never have a speech. I just let God lead me. So I'm going to give you the bad news first. I'm just going to rip that Band-Aid right off, and then I'm going to tell you the good news. So the bad news is that I am selling the RV. I'm selling the Hero Mobile. I'm going to tell you why. I want to share my story as to how I got up to this point, but I don't want you to be sad because good things are coming because of this. So as many of you know, I'm the CEO to Heroes Home Advantage, and I've been running Heroes Home Advantage since, 2013. I started out in Rochester, New York, and then it went nationwide, and I have realtors and loan officers and home inspectors all over the country running Heroes Home Advantage. It's a real estate rebate program. And it started, most of you know, because both my children are veterans, one of them a combat veteran, and I just wanted to do something to pay it forward. So over a 10-year period, I helped hundreds buy and sell their homes. And in those 10 years, many of them shared their stories with me. And I saw that many of them, even though they are hiding what's going on inside of them, they did share with me some things. And I went on police ride-alongs. Destiny, I went out with you several times. And I went on the fire trucks, I went on the ambulances, and I spent a lot of time with them. So in 2017, I decided to get an RV. I was never a camper, didn't know how to drive one or empty tanks or electric or anything like that. And the first RV was a 24-foot RV, and I just put some vinyl graphics on it for Heroes Home Advantage. And I reached out to my realtors and loan officers out there, and I said, hey, if you'd like to do an event to thank Heroes, I will come. So little did I know, my realtors from all over the country wanted to visit with the first RV. So they held events, and I traveled, and I left Georgia, and I went all the way up to, oh gosh, I was in California. I drove to Idaho, all the way to Connecticut, and it was, that first year was crazy. It was a city to city and state to state tour. So I ended up staying in a lot of rest stops and a lot of truck stops. And I started to do some video on my travels. If you've been watching me for 4 years, you'll have seen that I was breaking down all over the place, but I was having a lot of fun. And we thanked hundreds and hundreds of heroes. I got to visit with them. If you want to see from the beginning, you can go to YouTube. My YouTube channel is RV Hero Gypsy, RV Hero Gypsy. Going into my second year, I was invited to come to Camp for Heroes, and I was hanging out with founder Woody, and he brought me to a couple of meetings that were going on. And at the first meeting, I met Bobby Henline. And Bobby shared his story with me, and I was so inspired by him. And that same week, I met Tom McRae. Both of these guys are amazing veterans. They have a story to tell, but they have such positive things to say based on their injuries and what they've been through and who they lost, their loved ones. They inspired me. So I told them I'm going to go get a bigger RV and I'm going to wrap it in the American flag, and I asked if I could use their photos. So I did that. So Bobby and Tom and my friend Janice, Janice shared her story of military sexual trauma. I put them on all three sides of the RV, wrapped it in the American flag. I have photos of both my children in their military uniforms on both sides of the RV, and I had also my graphic to Heroes Home Advantage. So I decided to become a nonprofit. People were asking me how they could donate, and I formed National Veteran Resources as a nonprofit. And I hit the road again, started traveling, but this time I changed it to post-traumatic stress awareness and sharing stories of veterans and first responders. So I was out there interviewing veterans. I traveled the country again. My RV lasted about 6 months because I bought a broke down old RV and I felt I had more confidence that I would be doing better. A 32-foot RV was a pretty big rig. But again, I didn't stay at campgrounds. I stayed in a lot of parking lots. And so obviously that comes with its challenges. But it was so rewarding. After 6 months, I decided I needed to get a brand new RV, and I actually went out and got a Class A. I was scared to death of it. Drove it right off the lot, took it right to my graphics designer, Dalton Signs, and I had it wrapped again. And this time I added my friend Sabina Ward. Sabina had invited me to come to San Antonio, Texas, and she shared her story. Her husband died by suicide. He served us almost 30 years, and he died by suicide. She took me to his gravesite, and I had taken a photo of her, and so now all 4 of my friends were on my RV. So I started traveling the country again, and what started happening is I started to meet parents that lost their veteran sons and daughters to suicide. Bobby came up to me and told me about Peter. Then I was introduced to Donna. Donna had just lost her son Dustin 2 weeks previously to meeting me in Crossville, Tennessee. I was there to honor Tim French, who was walking in his town with a flag honoring veterans killed in action. So Donna came to sit with me. She brought me gifts. Donna, I will never forget it. I was staying at a VFW parking lot, I believe. I was invited to come to Reboot Recovery. Tim had me all over the place. So anyway, right after meeting Donna, I met yet another mother and another mother. I met Robin. I met Manetta. I was introduced to Laura. And I just started meeting more and more moms. So in July of last year, I formed a group, and I named it Mothers of Veteran Suicide. And I just wanted to, as a mom, worried about one of my kids a lot over the last 11 years, I wanted to do something to try to cheer them. So I started posting. I formed this Facebook group, and I started posting just positive, motivational type things. And we had more than 15 moms in the group by October. So in October, when Randy joined me, I decided to take a trip to visit the mothers in 7 states, 8 mothers. So as you've been following me, you saw us traveling and meeting the moms, and news reporters have been called all over the country, so we've been in front of the news reports. But I'm also not only running the nonprofit, but also Heroes Home Advantage, so I've been trying to juggle both. What's happened in the last 6 months is, I laugh about this, but I feel like a celebrity at this point with this wrap on this RV. I started going to events after events, and Randy's great. Randy's a veteran, and he talks to the veterans, but I started this pledge. I started having the veterans sign the RV, and I think this is where my problem started. I would say probably in November. For those of you in Blairsville, Georgia, you saw it happen to me. We were at a car show invited by the American Legion, and I had veteran after veteran after veteran taking my pledge. They were so cute. They were raising their hand saying, if I need help, I will ask for help. And then I had them sign the RV, and I now have challenge coins I created that say, you are not alone. Well, I had one veteran tell me, I can't sign this. And I talked to him and I heard his story, and I actually fell to my knees. I almost blacked out. I got pale. I had to go lay down in the bed in the RV, and the EMT was called. And since then, I've been just having heart palpitations, and I thought it was just stress and anxiety. And people have been starting to tell me I don't look the same. I don't look like I'm as happy. And Randy's been gently trying to tell me. I did find out I have something like supraventricular tachycardia or something. They put me on some type of medication. But I just know that I want to help everybody. I'm that empath. I take in everybody's pain. Since then, I've had quite a few veterans look me in the eyes with tears in their eyes and say, I can't take that pledge. And a few months ago, I actually had a suicide text message. This young veteran was referred to me. I'm not a crisis counselor. I'm not a therapist. I'm just a friend. I listen. I try to find resources. And this message, it came out of nowhere. He told me he was going to die by suicide. He told me how and where. Luckily, the police got there, and he did have one gun and one bullet. And that was probably the turning point for me. Men and women, veterans and first responders, if you need resources, I can help you with resources. You have seen me reach out. If I don't have it, I'm going to find it for you. But I can't take on crisis calls. So what I've decided to do, okay, so here's what happened. The last 2 weeks, we were on tour. Our first stop was to see two of the mothers. The husbands and the fathers are both police officers. We were invited to come to the police department. None of the police officers initially wanted to take my pledge or sign the back of the RV where I have designated for our first responders to sign. And I could see, I could feel them. Finally, a female police officer stepped up to the plate. She took the pledge, and then one by one they came. But I heard a lot of stories, and I had told Randy, we never stay in campgrounds, hardly ever, because I don't want to spend the money to have the comforts of being fully hooked up, because I want to put that money back into the nonprofit. So that's why I have stayed in all these parking lots, and it's really a hardship. So I had told him, let's stay 2 days at this campground. And what happened is veteran after veteran after veteran, and this happens all the time, but I'm tired and I'm not feeling all that great. They kept coming up, knocking on the door, and I'm very patient. I'm very cordial. I'm out there. God has put me on this earth to help them. But I was getting to the point of just pure exhaustion. So I gave them all the time, but I kept hearing stories of horrible, horrible stories of rape and trauma and war and suicide. And it just started to really get to me. So we traveled on, and I told him, I'm really, really struggling. I think I'm in a crisis myself. My business obviously hasn't gotten my attention that it should, but I'm there for veterans. I'm there for first responders. I'm there for these moms. These moms, you are my heart and soul. You've shared your stories with me. You're so open. This group is amazing. And so as we're traveling, I'm leading up to something. I hope I'm not rambling, but I needed to explain all this to you. So I'm now on my third RV. It's gorgeous. It's a tribute to our heroes. I love every single man and woman that has served our country and our communities. And but the problem is that for 3 days, we're traveling through Florida. We're getting honked at, we're getting beeped at, we're getting the thumbs up. People are taking pictures, they're veering into our lane. And I think the last straw was a couple actually followed us into the parking lot and jumped out, and they asked if they could do videos with us and photos. And we pulled into a campground, and at 8 o'clock in the morning, I just wasn't ready to receive anybody. I like to have scheduled appointments so I can prepare for the stories that I'm going to hear. And it was just knock on the door, people standing outside. There's no rest for Randy or I, but especially me. And I haven't been feeling that well, and I'm exhausted. So we're selling the RV, but here's the good news. We're buying a fifth wheel. We just traded in the Jeep. This amazing RV company offered $81,000 on this RV that I still owe on this RV. I bought it to try to have, you know, as you saw, I was breaking down all over with the new RV for a full year, and I had stopped tours and everything. So we, it's not that comfortable in here, guys, with 2 dogs and 2 adults. We're tripping over each other all the time. There's times when I have 12 veterans in my RVs sharing their stories, and I have organizations coming. So we're buying a fifth wheel. I know we're crazy. I don't want to put one graphic on the truck or the RV until we have some time to see how it's going to go. I'm not changing my nonprofit. I want you to know that. But I have written a program for the moms. It's an outreach program. It's called Mothers of Veteran Suicide Outreach Program. I now have 30 mothers in my group, and it's growing every day. And these moms want to speak out. They want to raise awareness. They want their children to be remembered. And so it's an outreach program that they're going to be teaching in their communities. They're going to be speaking about their experiences. Laura helped me with this. Laura's one of the moms. She's the founder of John's Mission for 22. Thank you, Laura. And together, we're going to teach the moms. And Laura posed the question to me the other day, well, what about the dads? What about the spouses? What about the children, the siblings, the grandparents, the girlfriends and boyfriends? I said to her, you know, anybody that has a passion to do an outreach of suicide awareness and PTS awareness and prevention, get out there. I will help you with it. So my mission is going to be to help create this outreach program throughout the country. And 5 mothers that have lost their veteran children to suicide are leading the way. I'm so excited about that. If you're a veteran or first responder in a crisis, I have organizations and teams out there. Contact us. We'll find you the resources. I am friends with a lot of Mission 22 ambassadors. I have organizations out there that have amazing therapies. So get a hold of us. But if you're in a crisis, all I'm going to be able to do is give you the crisis hotline, because I'm so afraid I'm not going to be able to help you. And it affects me, guys. It really affects me. It never started out as a crisis intervention. And so what it's done to me is makes me feel like I can't, this crisis call I had, nothing that I said, he wouldn't answer the phone. I knew he was going to go through with it, and I just wouldn't have been able to live with that. So I'm going to go back to video taping heroes and sharing their stories. I love doing that. And they're stories of hardship, but we always leave with a message of hope and faith, to find your purpose and never give up hope and faith. So I created Operation22to0.com to share these stories. It's not going to be a nonprofit. It's just a thing I'm doing. If you want to share your stories, I can also do a Zoom meeting, because I can't promise I can be in California one day and, you know, Vermont in the next day. But I have Randy's full support. And guys, this is my ministry. God has called me to do this. I've been doing this for 4 years, but I'm tired. and I need to have a little privacy on some downtime when I'm on the road, and so does Randy. And so just bear with me as I figure it out. And here's some other great news. Heroes Home Advantage is an amazing real estate rebate program. And I had a hero looking to buy a house in Durango, Colorado. I didn't have a realtor there, so I outsourced it to a Coldwell Banker agent in that area. She reached out to her relocation director, and that relocation director reached out to me and said, we have 13 offices in 3 states, and we would like to participate in the Heroes Home Advantage program. We have 350 agents. Not all are going to want to participate, but quite a few are going to participate. They just signed my contract, and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of heroes in those areas are going to be saving a lot of money when they buy and sell houses. So praise God that I'm getting that help with my company and with the heroes as well, because this is how it all started back in 2000. I guess I've lost track, probably 2010 in Rochester, New York. So I'm sorry this is long-winded, but I needed to share with you my mental state and my health is so important, and I have to take care of me or I can't help you. So please understand why I can't have a wrapped RV, but it's been great. It's been a blessing. It's been so rewarding. And who knows, I'm so crazy. Maybe someday I will get it wrapped again, but right now we need a little privacy when we're on the road. Please follow us. We love you, and we thank you so much for all the messages I got yesterday. We thank you for your love and support. If you'd like to donate to National Veteran Resources, please do. We need sponsorships. I need to make materials for all the moms to do these outreaches. I need brochures. I need to make them cards and event type stuff. And so I could really use your help with that. So I had to put that little plug in. We need donations and sponsorships to nationalveteranresources.com. Tim did an amazing, I'm just going to say one more thing. Tim French walked 22 miles. This is like his 3rd or 4th time doing this for me to raise money and to raise awareness. And Tim, we just love you. Mark D'Amato, all of our friends doing Facebook fundraisers, thank you so, so, so much. God bless. It's all good. I swear it's all good. We're going to, keep talking, Punta Gorda. Brian invited me to come and speak. They do a mental health ministry. So I'm going to a church and I'm going to speak regarding my experiences and about finding resources and prevention. So the RV, that will be the last public appearance, April 17th. Thank you guys. Thank you for your love and support and prayers. Mwah. God bless.